Alrighty, well here I will be explaining how to go through the most optimal, not most optimal, but one of the most optimal routes for getting a good early game start. The two main classes that have blood related weapons so you can do quicker would be Samurai and Bandit. You could do either of those. Bandit has more arcane, so bleed is more potent, but Samurai can also do bleed. So it doesn't matter either one. There might be more. I haven't checked all of them, but yeah. So I'm choosing Bandit. You can choose whatever class you want. If you do choose a bleed, if you do choose a class that doesn't have a bleed weapon, you are able to go to the bottom of Limgrave. There should be a little other southern area with an area where you can get the Morning Star, I think it's called, which is a hail weapon, I think so, that has bleed properties. But when you get down here, or at least after you get down here, you'd want to make your way towards the center. But not go to the center, you kind of just want to go to the edge. Because all you really want to do is just start the boss fight. As long as you see him come out from there, which is what I do. The second he lands, you just jump off and then just skip that fight because it's not really required. You're going to go to the same area anyways. So what I do here, I go through the tutorial cave. I would recommend going through the tutorial cave, just get the hang of stuff, as well as getting extra runes for later stuff. But I won't do this cave, I'm gonna skip it though, and go to the surface after I quit.
Of course, unfortunate outcome. You are
So make sure you talk to this guy, make sure you get the grace, make sure you collect all the graces you see. Make sure you collect it's at this for multiplayer stuff. And what you want to do here is you want to go around the tree sentinel, just so you don't have to bother fighting him. You can fight him if you want, it's a bit tedious and quite difficult with your lack of gear. So you just want to go around him and go to the church. You could have gone through the front entrance there, but I just didn't go to the front entrance. Make sure you just grab this grace, and then you want to retreat to the back of the church. Make sure you grab the free smithing stone and talk to
But I can also that you're not
the
then.
merchant.
I am caught.
I would recommend just getting the crafting kit. This is going to be the most
Goodbye.
unique thing out of all the crafting shops. Or out of all the shops. And for multiplayer, you do not necessarily need it, but it is good for multiplayer. Because you can get these earthly flowers, then you could use those to craft finger remedies, I believe, and then you're able to use them to see other people summon signs. I'm gonna run these forests, just mainly past the fighting elements. I'm gonna grab the item over here though. It's not necessary, but I'm gonna do it for free. You kind of want to go around this fortress, not necessarily fortress, but ruins, because there are a lot of knights in there. So it's better to just go around it. Fun fact about these, actually I'm going to talk to Melanie really quick, and then go to after I talk to Melanie here. But if you don't have a bleed weapon, what you could have saw was that carriage that is to our left here. There's little chests in them, and most of the time they carry items like weapons, and that is what you would see on the south side of the map. After you go to the across the bridge on the other side of the map. But what I like to do with Torrent is get on Torrent while moving and get off Torrent while moving, because it's slower just going to the idle get on and get off animation, because then it like puts you in an animation lock. like actually getting off for it. Another fun fact about graces is that when you're activating graces, they give you iframes. And when you reset them, it completely resets all of the enemies except for bosses, of course. So what you do is if you're just being chased, you just rest at the side of grace. Make sure you're resting at the side of grace. One thing actually activating grace in the first place does is give you iframes. Also, but the iframes do help because sometimes they'll de-aggro after getting after you get the iframes, but most of the time they won't. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the less optimal route and go for the map over here. You don't have to go for the map, you could just go straight to the Church of America. Here, I check the map just to make sure I'm heading in the right direction. But here, it's kind of on this road that you want to travel south, then you'll make it to a bridge. You cross that bridge, there's another NPC you can talk to, you don't have to tell him to, it's a side quest. There's like a fortress all the way on the south side that's really annoying to get to because it has like a couple stone golems just shooting giant arrows at you. But anyways, what you wanted to do, also after you talk to Melon, what you would normally do is just teleport back to the first church that you came across after Tree Sentinel, and then so you can grab the spirit bell. But what I'm going to do here, I just went through this, it's still nighttime, so I'm going to grab this stuff and then fast travel over there. So I'm going to grab this grace, I'm going to grab the physique and then the tier, or not the tier. You would want to grab the thing by the statue first before going with the grace, so you can do both things, but you do want to make sure you mix your Flask of Wondrous Physique because this doesn't automatically put the one you get in. And you probably don't want to be drinking an empty flask. I kind of avoid interaction with Melon until it's necessary. I try to rest at sites of grace as the least amount as possible. But if you have taken damage, just feel
This
free
way,
to
tarnished.
rest if you've
May
used any
I am the
consumable,
I'd heard
like
tell and upon look
the
at talk thou art
flasks
possessed call
or
for.
your yeah, any of the
I was in
flasks, they
strike
just
torrents.
replenish. But
Tis a
here you get
bell
the
of
spirit
summon
calling
their
bell
spirit now
and
it is that.
summons. But you want to fast travel back to the church and then go to this little opening that's in the church in the back of it there. And you want to hop over these rocks into this little secluded area. And then you see those particles that leads to a teleporter that just teleports you to the far side of Caelid by the by this NPC or temple over here. Here I'm changing my torrent slot, my summon slot, because I don't really summon down up. I was just panicking whenever not panicking, just rushing whenever I did the thing. But this is where you get bestial incantations, where you'll use your death, whatever, I forgot what they're called, but make sure at these golden trees, most of the time it will have a golden seed at the bottom of it, which you can use to get more charges on your flasks. Mainly your flask of Crimson and Cerulean Tears. Flask of Cerulean Tears restores your FP, and then Flask of Crimson Tears restores your HP. As you can see, there's a dragon crossing this bridge. Not crossing this bridge, but it's just sitting there. Here you're able to just run past it pretty easily. It's pretty easy to dodge. Wouldn't recommend fighting it. Off to the left after this bridge, if you wanted to, you can go over to that building. Make sure you find the spirit spring and then jump onto But you do want to go right here. No, what you want to do, you want to go behind this minor earth tree after you get to it. Just go past the, forget what it's called, the future avatar of things. But yeah, you want to go behind the tree here to the spirit spring, just obviously going around the hill. And then you just want to jump up it. You want to continue in this direction until you get to the side of Grace. Like go through these trees, but the blocks are big. Now this fortress, you won't be clearing the fortress till after the rail here. But you do want to go to rail, and then as long as you have a lead weapon, this will be really easy, because then you can just start hacking away at her, and eventually I'll start to when the big chunk of damage happens, and that's after I'm about to kill Grail. There's the big chunk of damage from bleed. Bleed this percent damage, which makes this a very powerful strategy. You see, I turn my camera backwards, so I start killing them. But when Grail, what's two things Grail does, whenever they roar, they wake up all the dragons that are in the area by Grail. And that's why killing Grail gives so much, because it also kills all the dragons, other dragons in the area. See, I killed Grail. But Grail's roar also applies two debuffs, a armor debuff, or whatever you want to call it, and an attack debuff. I don't believe the attack debuff applies to lead. But here, you're going to be forced to do an interaction with Melina. You're not necessarily forced to go to the round table, you can just go click the back option instead of actually doing the interaction, but I just go to the round table here. Long cutscene. I just rest at the table of grace, allocate that golden seed I got earlier, and then go to level up. You can allocate these stat points in anything. I'm going to put mine to endurance for more stamina. Strength, since my weapon scales with that, and arcane, since I believe my weapon also scales with that. Or at least bleed normally scales with arcane. And then I'm going to upgrade faith for later because a lot of buffs have faith. Faith is for incantations, intelligence is for spells. Endurance is for stamina, mind is for FP, which I call it, but it's just mana. It's whatever you want to call it. And then vigor is health. But you want to go back here, at least, what you want to at least do is run through here. Make sure you do run through here. You don't have to fight anything, I wouldn't recommend fighting anything. But here's the flying this. Don't be afraid that they can fly. This poison will affect you after you climb the ladder. Make sure you do sprint while climbing the ladder, because it makes you climb the ladder faster. But these things can't actually fly, they just hover. But you want to at least get this medallion half here. You don't have to do the stats after this, I'm just going to do it. It just makes the game easier. Because what this thing does, it boosts your most of your stats by 5. It'll basically show you what stats. But it boosts most of your stats by 5 at the cost of you taking more damage. I do collect this gold rune. This gold rune is allowed to do 7,500 runes if I recall. Here you get Dragon Sword Seal, which is the item I was talking about. Here I try to make it out alive. Most people just don't even try, they just let themselves die. That's why there's so many blood pools here. So type 1 type design where there's like the entire floor covered with tools. But I get over here, I dodge those, it tries backing up, I body block it, but it goes safely. You can't really climb back, well you can climb back up the way game, it's just faster to do this, or just drop down. Nice time down here. I don't know if I would hit me or not. I do fall here, so I just skip past that, and then they did pop me, so I just use Torrent to get to the Grace faster than they could cancel it. Because when enemies are by a Grace, then they kind of, the Grace kind of fades a bit, and then you can't interact with it. That's just to prevent, like, players from just aggroing something and then just arresting right as they're about to back on it. You do see there's a giant up there, so what I do, I just try to bait him out. Let him jump, because that jump does do a little shocker, just kind of deal with. Nothing unhinged. Just kind of annoying. You also just sprint through those, as long as you click shift by them. Doesn't really block them, just distract them. Here, wolves kind of drop on me, but there is another golden seed. You just want to race the Grace before wolves drop you. I like this spot because you're able to just get off Torrent at the right angle and just jump over those rocks there. You could just jump with Torrent normally. I get the Grace and then I rest at it immediately just so the wolves don't come up and be annoying. I grab the Stone Sword key up here. Stone Sword key you're able to insert into little, I forget what they're called, but little imp statues, I'm gonna say.
Everyone who
And then
only
for this
tapped
NPC,
into
this
Earth
NPC is
Island.
the main summon NPC. What you want to do, you just want to exhaust all their dialogue,
I want on nothing.
and then later in the
Can you
game, I believe you want to come back here,
It'll be
and
glad.
then you're going to be able
It won't.
to
Tell them I'm fine
talk
again.
with them again, and then eventually,
won't.
both during the
Tell
round
them
table
I'm
hold,
fine
you'll be able
again.
to upgrade these spirits. Also in the round table hold, I didn't show it, but there was a blacksmith basically in one of the other rooms. And that blacksmith's just able to upgrade your stuff as long as you have the smithing stones for it. I like going around this little barricade here because there's that little annoying thing. They just shoot at you, fire arrows. I get the Grace, 2 of them are still aggroed, so I'm just gonna kill them really quick. Rest of the side of Grace, get what I lost from them, and then obviously I prefer the jellyfish over the wolves, it's more tanky, but you do you, that yellow summon sign just summons a NPC. Normally it would be a player, but it's an NPC. Here I just cut the right color on translation. But yeah, that's basically it. What you want to do for we're gonna do for him is mainly just bait out his attacks, and also the jellyfish will full aggro every time it hits it, so you're able to do whatever.